And we are live. Hello, everybody. Got to turn off the speakers over there. We're just doing another quick hangout with Robert here because he's going to be setting up an interview with a fancy, smart copywriter. And it's going to be for next Wednesday. And we just wanted to make sure that the event was set up the right way because it could be something really helpful and profitable. So this was a great learning experience for everybody. So what we're going to do, similar to last time, if you saw Robert's video before when I was helping with his Google Plus page, he's going to be sharing his screen, and I'm going to be walking him through the steps, and you can learn something from it. So why don't you go ahead and wave to the camera, Robert, and introduce yourself.
Hi, Robert Michon. We're working on a project. I'm going to be talking to Kevin Rogers in a few days, and really I'm just kind of doing it for fun, just kind of getting out of my shell. But I think it would be useful for him because he has a book that he released, and I think it's a nice way for him to recharge the campaign, re-engage with his fans and customers, and maybe even generate some new business for him. Certainly give them a means to interact with him in a way that they wouldn't normally. So we'll try it and see where it goes.
Very good, very good. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and show us your screen, and we'll take you through the steps.
Oh, I captured.
Hey, sure, right on.
There we
Let's
go.
take a picture.
Yeah, let's take a picture. It'll last longer. This one. All right. Is it sharing it?
It sure is.
Awesome.
I can see me.
Cool.
So the first thing we want to do is we want to go over to your YouTube channel so that we can set up the event from the YouTube side.
Cool. So YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Now with this, now the Hangout that we're on right now, is this being broadcast through what browser are you in? I just want to make sure
This
that we
is
don't.
Internet Explorer. I don't think I even have Chrome on this one. Is that a problem?
Well, like the Hangout that we're logged into right now, are you logged in through the Explorer browser?
I am.
Okay, so we want to make sure that you're in a different browser because isn't your page under a different account, a different?
For this particular channel, no. This one's fine. I'm going to do this under my
Oh,
own name.
okay,
You see that
perfect. Yeah,
little my little photo there or whatever? That tells me I'm in the right place for this particular interview. Other interviews
perfect.
are on different pages.
All right, cool, cool. So then go ahead and click your icon in the right, and then click on Video Manager.
Hey, there's Colin.
And since you've already verified, we don't need to go through that. On the left side, underneath Uploads, there's Live Events. Go ahead and click on Live Events. Okay, we'll just click Enable Live Streaming. I guess we didn't. Yeah, you got to agree.
All right, I agree.
There we go. Now you can go ahead and schedule this event.
Cool.
Now, obviously the times will be the same on this page as well as the event page, but for now let's start with the time that it needs to start, and then work on the title.
Okay. Cool. And let me
So
just
go ahead and click
I'm going to double check just to make sure. I mean, we've already talked about it, but I like to triple check because sometimes the brain doesn't function. We're doing this on Wednesday, the 18th, 3 p.m. So, boom. And usually I could just dial in the 3. Oh, of course it goes to a.m. What's the deal, guys? All right.
All right, now what time zone are you in? Because you're going to want to change that on the edit.
18 minus, it's 4 because we're on daylight savings time. Normally it's 5.
So you're in Eastern time?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Because whatever you set the event on the Hangout and on the event page, the time zone that you set is what it will set at, but everybody else, it will reflect their own time zone, right? So you just want to make sure that if you are creating an event through YouTube and as well as Google Plus, that you just make sure it lines up with your time zone, and then everybody else will see the time start from their time zone. It's one of those cool things that Google does, but when you set it the wrong time, like I've done many times, everybody gets super confused.
Not so cool then.
Right, right.
Gotcha.
So, do you have an end time in mind? You don't have to set the end time.
Well, we tentatively had 3:30, but you and I talked about it. It may run over, so I'm thinking it might go to 3:45.
Okay. Well, also know this, and for those of you who are watching, like that, First of all, you can set it for whenever you want, but you can also start it whenever you want. If you want to start it early, you can start it. If it ends up going late, it's still you're the one in control, and this is just a scheduling thing. So it's not gonna automatically start at 3, and if you're rushing to your house, you're like, no, it'll start when you say it needs to start.
Perfect.
So now let's go to the title, right?
Just one other
Yeah,
question on
lay
add
it on
end
me.
time. Are there any other ramifications of adding the end time? What's the purpose of that? Just to
Nah, it's one of those things that calendar based, right? Because what'll happen is that when people see this, let me actually step back for a second. The reason why I set an event first in YouTube is because it actually shows up in the YouTube and Google search engine before it even goes live. So if someone goes through, I assume the title will have something to do with Kevin Rogers, right?
of course.
Right. So if somebody between now and the time that you did the interview searched for Kevin Rogers, depending on how popular he is, there's a very, very high likely chance that this event will show up, this YouTube watch page thing, in the Google search engine, especially the YouTube search engine. So if they search for it, they'll see the listing, and when they click on it, it'll pop up like a regular YouTube video, but there'll be a big countdown timer in the middle of it that says, when it's actually counting down to the time frame, right?
Super slick.
So with that said, when you see it in like the YouTube or Google search, it actually gives you an option to right then and there from the search results add that event to a calendar through Google or Outlook or iCal or whatever that they've got. And so to that end, it only puts it in there of like this is the total time as far as the calendar goes. That's it.
Now, this only applies to public events, not private ones, right?
Yes, because the private events wouldn't show up in the search engine.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And one other quick question on that.
Sure.
If you were dealing in a niche, maybe with a pretty low keyword competition, is it
Oh yeah.
reasonable to think you could show up on page one if nobody's really
Easily.
working terribly hard?
Easily. I've seen that happen numerous times, even on more competitive keywords.
So
So,
that would be interesting from an organic perspective. If people are
right?
searching in the niche and you have an upcoming event, that would be really a cool way to promote yourself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because again, they have that option to be reminded through the calendar. And if you're smart, which you are,
Yep.
then prior to the event, because the YouTube video can show up a lot more often than the event, right? And the event page is where people can actually register. So if you put again, what we'll do this, you'll see the total outcome here. But once we finish the Google Plus event page, then we'll put the link of the event page in the description prior to the event. So if people come across this and they're like, "Hey, pretty cool," and then there's a call to action that says register the event on Google Plus, and it sends them to the event page of which they can comment and register and watch and blah 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 blah. Right? See how they all kind of come, all roads lead to Rome, so to speak.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. So, does that answer your questions so
It
far?
certainly does.
Perfect, perfect. So, do you want to add a description or a title first?
Well, we'll do title first, and I really would have normally I plan a little bit more in advance. We're doing this on the fly, but I mean, for now, I guess I could just do Kevin. I
Yeah,
think it would be smarter to go with his book title.
I agree. So I would say, see now, fans of Kevin Rogers, like both are actually good keywords. So the rule of thumb, and I'm sure you've heard this with blogs, but the same applies for YouTube videos. Uh, Titles are most important because it's the first thing that the robots see, right? The Google robots,
Mhm.
and as well as people, right? So the rule of thumb is use keywords early and often. So it just depends on what you would want Kevin Rogers to have more exposure in. Would be Kevin Rogers or his book, but which one's going to be searched more often, Kevin
Well,
Rogers or the title of his book?
yeah, see, I think, well, here's the problem. It's the name of the title of the book is 60-Second Hook. Well, you could be spelling that out. You could be using the
Hmm,
number. You could be hyphenating it. You might not. So it's really kind of confusing when you use the book as
true.
the title. So
All right, so I would do Kevin Rogers interview dash, right, like a little hyphen right there, because the dash, the little pipe sign, like any of them, it just has some kind of break visually, and from what I've heard, organic search engine wise. So having a dash like to break up keyword phrases in the title is helpful to do. And again, it's also a visual thing that I like to use as well. So dash, and then again, 60-second hook. I would just write 60, just because for the sake of space in the title. But in the tags, we'll get to that in a second. But in the tags, you're going to want 60-second hook as the with the letter, but also 60 seconds spelled out, because YouTube looks at keywords as individuals. Like there's computer is a keyword and computers is a keyword. They're not really synonymous. So you will want both variations of the book title and any other variations of Kevin Rogers and whatnot in the tags. But those tags are also like third most important kind of thing, right? Titles, descriptions, tags, right? So that's how we want to do it. And YouTube also, as a little side note, YouTube does also encourage that later on you come and update your titles and tags and descriptions to something more relevant for the current time frame. If there are additional keywords that relate to Kevin Rogers, YouTube not only accepts it, but encourages it, because they want the content to be constantly updated and relevant. But a lot of marketers think that it's one and done. You can't go back and change your keywords, but you really should.
Okay, interesting.
So there's that.
All right, cool. So 60-second hook for the title?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm an excellent typist today.
Right.
All right. Description.
All right, so yeah, and I like to so it would be something along the lines of for now, again, before the event starts, say visit us on our event page, or click here to register, or something like that. Because what happens in the YouTube and Google search engine is that they'll take the title and then they'll take the first few bits of the description and put it as sort of a teaser text, right? So having that link visible in those first few lines with a call to action makes it very, very hard not to click on, right?
Yeah, my original thought on it would have been to ask a question or reference the book in the description right off the bat, and then have a call to action. Is that how you typically like to structure these things?
Yeah. I would say, again, especially since it's early, say get more details on our event page, and then you can put a more detailed description on the event page to drive people from here to there.
Gotcha. So one of my thoughts, just off the top of my head, I normally think these things through a lot more when I'm writing copy, but would be, have you read Kevin Rogers' 60-second hook, or do you have further questions about his book or something like that?
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. And we can toy around with it, because once you click create event, you can actually visit the watch page and see where it cuts off and play around with it.
All right. So we'll just do a Q&A on Kevin Rogers' 60-second hook.
Yeah. I like that. And then you can also cut, like I said, we don't have to put a whole lot of time into the tags and whatnot.
Yeah.
I do encourage you, basically anything over 10, the number 10 tags, right? So you have 10 tags or 10 keyword phrases. 10 and above is basically like where it's actually going to do some good. So like when I look at tags, like it's against the YouTube terms and conditions to have misleading tags. But if you can cram as many relevant tags in there as possible, then do it. Just don't do anything that would be against their terms of conditions, which would be tags that are not that are misleading, right?
So don't put Pamela Anderson in there.
Right. Yeah, don't put. Yeah, you want more than 10 tags, but at the same time, you don't want to just like, well, I can't think of anything more, so let's go ahead and put Pamela Anderson in there, right?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a joke if you've been around a while, but
right.
Pamela Anderson, the internet universe revolved around Pamela Anderson for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, cool. So we've got that. So do we want to throw in a couple tags here and call it good?
Yeah. I would say, first of all, again, the topic at hand would be Kevin Rogers. So I would say Kevin Rogers interview, Kevin Rogers. You said he's a copywriter. Right. So at this point, just go ahead and just hit enter.
Okay.
Magic, right? No, you used to have to put like commas in and stuff like
Oh,
that. Now
I,
you
I was
just got to
hoping
hit
I could
enter.
just copy and paste, and then I could add on at the end, but I really can't do that.
If you have it like in a generic document like a notepad or something like that, no formatting,
Yeah.
and you put the commas in the right places, then you can copy and paste.
All right. Do
So
we want to fool around with that, or do I just want to type?
no, you're fine. Just go ahead and type it.
We can always modify them later anyway.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'll do 60-second hook.
Yeah,
We'll do, and maybe we'll do a hyphenated 60-second hook.
yeah. There we go.
Anything else?
Yeah, I put your name in there.
Oh, yeah. Robert Alexander Schumann, like they suggested. Maybe I
There
should
you
go
go.
with that. All right.
So yeah, there's a good baseline, right? Yeah, copywriting, things like that. So yeah, the SEO wise, above 10 you're golden, and below 10 you're just kind of messing around, right?
Gotcha.
Um, the other thing that I also like to do that a lot of people don't do is add the name of the YouTube channel exactly as it's spelled in the URL. For example, like Cult of Copy, like no spaces, right? Because that's actually the name of the YouTube channel in the URL. But when
Gotcha.
you do that and you're constantly putting that same exact URL of the channel, or not URL, sorry, you're putting the name of the channel in every single video, it creates this common theme, and that's actually what pushes out all the related videos after the video plays, as well as in the right hand side. It's a
Uh-huh.
huge complaint with YouTube marketers because they don't want to get somebody like don't distract from my message and my other messages with all these other related videos. But if you have enough content that will push those out, and you're constantly repeating the same phrase, your YouTube channel name exactly as it's spelled in the URL, then YouTube uses that as a cue of like, oh, well, obviously that's all related. So then, again, it takes a little bit of time because you got to need the video content for it, but it'll literally push all the other videos out of the way over time because that's the most related content in relation to that video. Does that make
Gotcha.
sense?
Well, this is something I should probably. This is kind of an unusual project for me because, like I said, I usually invest a whole lot more forethought into these kind of things. But on this particular, this may be one good reason for me to really think through what I want to name this channel before I go too much further down the road.
Well said. Good point.
Okay.
All
But
right.
for now, for the audiences, where would we go to verify what our YouTube channel name was?
Okay, we'll do that. Looks like we're pretty
Do you
much
have it?
finished here. The last thing I want to do, I want to urge you, click on where it says type. Click on quick.
Yeah, you mentioned that
Quick,
last
yeah,
time.
quick is what we all know and love as live hangouts on air. Custom is a much more customizable experience, but has way more bells and whistles that are really, really confusing that, again, most marketers aren't even aware of.
Hey,
So do yourself a favor, make sure you click on quick, and then custom we'll go into later, much
Did
later.
you notice what changed on the page?
What was that?
I
What changed?
it was auto chosen or it was auto selected for custom. You know what changed on the page?
What was that? The date. Interesting. Huh.
Uh-huh.
It moved. That's weird.
Totally moved. Now watch, I'll type in 3 and it'll say AM. Nice job, guys. Okay, so anyway, that's back.
Interesting.
Okay. It's
Very
good that
interesting.
you're paying attention,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, because I was.
Well, you're instructing. Okay, cool.
So
Are
okay,
we
so at this
done
point,
here?
yeah, we're finished. Go ahead and click create event.
I kind of like the idea of having interview ontology class, though.
Yeah,
I would have to bone up on my ontology.
yeah, but I think you'd be able to do pretty well, right?
Look at the Cliff's Notes.
So here's what happens, right? So keep this page in mind as well because this is where you're going to actually have to come back to, right? About 30 minutes before the interview. I like to do it 30 minutes beforehand, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's really simple. You just go to your YouTube channel into the uploads, the video manager, and then
Uh-huh.
you click on live events just as if you were going to create a new one. But it brings you to this menu where you can actually see the events coming. And as you can see, you can just click on Start Hangout on Air. If you click on that, it'll say, okay, you're about to do this, and it'll give you a prompt to click OK,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll open up the window like we're in right now to do the Hangout.
So what you're saying is originate the event from here as opposed to going through my Google Plus page?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
because doing it through here is what gives you the ability to have that YouTube video, quote unquote, right? The about to be live broadcast YouTube page to show up in YouTube and Google, right?
Okay, cool.
I bet you anything. Actually, if you jumped over to either Google or YouTube, you could probably type in Kevin Rogers interview and find it like already.
You want to try it just for fun?
I think we should. Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
That would be fun. You want to go to YouTube or Google?
Let's try Google first because I'm fairly confident it'll show up on YouTube. See what we got here.
Kevin's strong though. Kevin Rogers YouTube got his channel.
All right. Maybe he's a little bit more popular than I thought.
It's only been a few seconds, so you
That's
never
true.
know. It could show
Just
up.
yeah. Let's bounce over to YouTube and see what it says there.
But he is an official master marketer because I said so.
Yeah, they see. There you go.
Like that. All right. So you
Yeah,
want to try
you gotta-
YouTube?
Yeah.
Try YouTube. Oh, and let's do this. Let's just save some time. Save the audience some.
There you go. Way to think ahead.
Disastrous video here. Here we go. Get out of there fast.
Let's see. Oh, what do you know? There's a lot of people named Kevin Rogers. Yeah. All right, scroll down a bit.
Oh, I was just gonna say at least Kenny Rogers didn't show up. There he is.
Danger zone.
Everyone considered him. There we go.
There it is.
We got
All
our
right.
first page instantaneously. That's pretty sweet.
And you see right there it says where you can click on set reminder.
Yeah.
And then like like we said, like this, it pulls up content from the description right there.
And you can click and you can add it to your Google or your Outlook or get an iCal. That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
Pretty
So and then
slick.
actually go ahead and click on the link so the audience can see like what it looks like with the countdown timer.
And do me 10 seconds. I'm gonna give me just a second. I just want to screen cap that real quick so I
Yeah.
idea what that looks like because that'll remind me that I want to clean it up. It says 60-second hook Q&A with Kevin Rogers. For more details, visit us on our event page. Now, I'm curious, if I'd added more text to that, would it have shoved this down? I think that's all you get. You get it says upcoming event down here. It says HD down here. So you're eating up some real estate with the second line.
well,
So you
like
get that first line.
Yeah, when you put like event page and actually put the link, the link will be underneath that second sentence, and then since it's a long link, it'll have most of the text and then like the dot dot dot, kind of like you see above where in the video above where it says 2013 Harlan Hill finalist and super region dot dot dot.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing, except it'll be with the link. So you will get that third line when you do add the link there. So.
Okay.
So with that said, go ahead and click on the video link itself because we're gonna grab the link anyway. So.
You want me to just copy the shortcut or just click the link?
Well, yeah, go ahead and click the link so people can see the countdown timer and stuff.
Oh, okay,
right.
cool.
So this is so when it comes right down to it, right, you could actually send people this direct link if you go up to the top where the web address is and copy that.
Mm-hmm.
That is the actual watch page. This is what we're going to add to the live event page, but it's also something you can just say, hey, if you want to take a look or you have any questions, you want to give me a thumbs up, you can again get that community interaction ahead of time, much like marketers will do in a pre-launch. They'll say, hey, go to my page, watch my awesome pre-launch videos, and then make a comment. And they have like a Facebook attachment comment system. Mm-hmm. This is literally that, except way better because it actually does some good on a search engine.
Hey, you know what I was thinking about doing? Is liking it myself.
Yep, you should. You should. You totally. As convoluted as that sounds, right? We've totally done that. I do that all the time. I give it. Well, because what it also does is that also like no one sees that you're the one that liked it. They just see that there was a like, right?
See, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
No, below your picture on the left.
If I can do it anonymously,
Yeah,
I guess
there you
I'll
go.
do it. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't like stuff ever on YouTube.
But see, here's the thing. You see what it says here? Since it's a new channel, right? You can say your likes will be publicly shared unless you want to make them private, but it still counts as a like, right?
Gotcha.
So
now here's the question: if I make this public, then it shows up on my Google Plus page.
It doesn't. It doesn't show up on your Google Plus page. It does. It's basically factored into its own section on YouTube. That
Uh,
if you would like, you could display on your YouTube channel of like, here's all the stuff that I've liked. But if you
uh,
don't show that feature,
uh,
it's publicly broadcast that you liked, but not publicly broadcast because you didn't give that ability to be. It's not in the section that you displayed. So it's public, but it's not public.
Interesting. And then here's the
Right.
other question I have. Would the people I'm circled up with on Google Plus know that I liked a video on YouTube?
Nope.
Okay.
Only like the people on Google Plus, they'll notice activity if you've commented on the YouTube video, because nowadays when you leave a comment on a YouTube video, it actually pre-checks a box in the comment itself that says also share on Google Plus. You don't have to, but most of the time people don't think to uncheck it, and it's also really good because you're getting double the exposure.
Sure.
So to that end, the Google Plus people will not see the like, but they will see the comment.
All right. Well, we'll go private for now, I suppose. Doesn't
Right.
matter really to my ends, so I don't care.
And,
All
and
right.
see, and there you go. As you can see, like there's the community interaction, and yeah, like I said, I always like it because that way anybody who else comes and drops by, they're like, oh well, people are liking this, I should like it too,
Right.
and then you're getting that
It is really
engagement
weird
before
how
it even
that works,
starts.
isn't it?
Mhm. All right, so now that we have the link saved, we've copied it, right?
Yep.
What you want to do is you want to jump over to Google Plus, which you can just go over to Google Plus, or you can click your little drop down and click on Google Plus that way. Either way, just getting to Google Plus is the goal here. So if you move your mouse over to the left where it says Home, it actually becomes a little flyout menu, right? Now you want to go down on this flyout menu and you want to click on Events between Communities and Hangouts. So here's the thing. A lot of people get confused at this point because there's a difference between Hangout and live Hangout on air. What we're doing right now is a live Hangout on air, and people can watch it live, and it's being recorded, and people can watch it again later. Whereas a Hangout, just a Hangout, not a live Hangout on air, it's just a way that you and up to 10 people can be in a Hangout, similar to how Robert and I are in a Hangout. But it's not live, and it's not recorded. So here's my point. Do not click on Plan a Hangout, ever. Or else you won't be able to broadcast live, and the person you're trying to interview is going to be like, what's the deal? So don't do that. Click on Create Event. So this pulls up this window. Again, basically you want to take the same exact information from the YouTube video and say, okay, here's my title, here's the time, and we'll just we'll go from there. So it's pretty much retype, copy, paste, whatever you want to do.
And I have it. See, I wasn't. It was good that I took that screenshot because I've got it
Right.
right in front of me. I was beginning to wonder how I'd worded it. Okay, and then we need to reset the time manually just to match what we set up, right?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they don't sync up, right?
No,
I wish they would.
Oh well.
Yeah.
All right, and we're gonna leave the ad. No, just a stupid question, but I figure I'll ask it. We didn't add an end time before. If I added it here, would that squirrel anything up?
Nah, because again, they are two separate platforms.
Cool.
But again, for the sake of your audience, like again, that's something that I've screwed up. You just want to make sure the time is the same, because like, well, on the watch page it says this, but the event page it says this, and oh, sorry, here's how it works, right?
Right. Now is the location the YouTube link?
Yeah, location. No. Location. I always like to write live Hangout on air, but that's just my own thing. It's not really a thing. Like these Google Plus event pages are actually meant for like real events. So you can actually, so this can connect to Google Maps. If you say, oh, well, we're over at the Hilton, blah blah blah, you plug the address in here, and people can actually use the event page as a way to actually locate where you're at.
Sure.
So I just type live Hangout on air because that's where it's happening.
Sure.
And then details, not that big of a deal. What you want to do to add the YouTube video, because this is something that people overlook all the time, is just to the right of the title where it says Event Options. You want to click on that. And in that drop down, nope. Yeah, okay. I thought things froze there for a second. So in the drop down, you want to go down and you want to click Advanced.
Okay.
and then click on Show More Options. Now you have a place where you can actually put the YouTube URL.
Excellent. Which
And
is
that's
right here.
yeah. But website though, like website's good if the guy's got a website, or maybe even like the link to the Amazon book itself.
Right.
I mean again that's your choice.
Right.
And then what ends up happening is all the information that you put in details will show up above the website link, and then just like so they can read through everything, and then just underneath it on the event page there will be a link that says official site, and that text links to whatever you put in that website URL.
Oh, okay. Curiosity question here. As far as website URL goes, one thing that we had kind of talked about was maybe even having a page set up where people could ask questions in advance. Would you suggest doing that on a specific website page, maybe that he or I own, or would that be better directed just directly to the YouTube posting? Where do you
I can do you one better. Since this is the place that we can drive all the traffic to, and they can register. This is also the best place for comments before, during, and after. Because when you make a comment on the YouTube watch page, there's a little bit of a delay between when they write it and when the people can see it. Whereas if people comment on the event page, it's actually more instantaneous. So as long as you have the event page open, you can be able to respond to the comments in real time.
Oh, cool.
So what it also does, again, since this page will be a live page, Google will that'll get sucked up into the Google Plus and Google Ether, so to speak, right? As that's the best term I can give it. But it's one of those things that if people are searching for stuff, then they could come across the live event page and be able to consume the content, many months from now, and they could actually find it through the search engine. So that's one of the beauties of this, and encouraging the comments in there, because you never know which keywords will be picked up in what comments when people search later. Does that make sense?
And as you said earlier, you may modify the keywords at a later date, even
Exactly.
based on the comments that you get.
Absolutely. Very good idea.
All right. So, should I invite my interviewee?
Last two things. There's the to section. I just wanted to mention one more thing specific to the header. As you can see, you can click change theme. And then you can change, like they have some preset things, like there's this nice little butterfly, but they also have other preset sort of headers that you can use that also have this sort of GIF format, right? There's the butterfly and the pinata kind of moving back and forth. But the reason why I want to point this out is because you can upload your own header, and that header can be a GIF image. Which again, when you're looking at it from the perspective of most of these people haven't seen anything like this before, you have a header that has some kind of subtle GIF, just like you're seeing with the subtle butterfly moving and the subtle pinata moving. Again, you don't want anything like totally obnoxious in your face like I have on my profile, but something that catches their eye, and it gets people like, wow, this is really cool. You don't have to get that complicated, but you can if you'd like. So if you want to choose something else, go ahead. If not, just go ahead and click cancel.
I do have a question. What are the optimal dimensions for this?
I believe it's 1200 pixels wide by 300 pixels tall.
1200 by 300?
Okay.
So, all right, cool. Let's see. Do we like anything here? I'll probably replace it. I may just replace it with his.
Right.
That seems like the logical way to go.
One thing I do think is pretty cool, because they do have like you can see seasonal, but they actually rotate them because it's June right now. So you saw some like summer stuff, and you saw some graduation stuff. So like Google's actually putting effort into this. If you don't have your own that you can upload.
So it's basically an accident happened at the clip art factory here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's go with the pinata.
Yeah.
Why not?
There you go. All right, so yeah, now we're down to the last thing, which is to, because this is where people get confused as well. So with anything on Google Plus, you get to determine the privacy level of anything, whether it's a post, whether it's an event, whether it's a community. You ultimately get to decide what public setting that's at. So if you click on the to section, the first thing that you want to do is you want to set it to public, right? You want to invite the public. Now, again, depending on your personal how you work with this profile or page or what have you, right? It doesn't have to be just your profile. It can
Mhm.
be a Google Plus page setting this up, right? So, guys, those of you who are watching, keep that in mind as well. You're not restricted to just a profile to create this. So, with that said, you have your own interactions with your circles. So this would be a kind of a personal decision, like, okay, which circles do I want to invite, or do I want to invite all of my circles, right?
Yeah, you can see
Uh,
there's only I only use this channel for specific purposes. So,
right, right,
um,
but like you've got like your master marketers and video experts. If there were people who you knew resonated with the content in this, they'd be like, obviously you'd want to invite them. But
right.
here's what happens when you do this. You set public, and that basically means that it's visible on your stream. Other people can join in at any time. It's public, right?
Yeah,
And it's accessible. It doesn't mean everybody in the universe knows about it. It just means that if they found your profile, they'd be able to see it and go, oh, okay, I can check this out.
right.
Now, if you don't want that, then you just wouldn't choose public, and then you would choose specific circles,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay, cool.
Or all of your circles again. So if you don't have the, I guess really the way to button this point up is that if you don't have public chosen, then it won't share publicly even on your own profile, and it will only share to the people that you've specifically shared with, like a specific circle or the option like you're saying all circles,
All
right?
right, cool. And I can always go back to this and add or subtract if I want, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I like to do, instead of saying like, okay, public and my circles or specific circles, I do public and extended circles because
Mm,
I've already got the circles, right? Like if someone is circling me and I've circled them back, I've already got them. I want more exposure, so I don't want my circles. I want my circles. Basically, I want this thing to post on other people's streams so that their friends and family and whoever who might be interested can come that can stumble across and go, oh, okay. Is it a slam dunk guarantee that everybody will see it? No, but it
mhm.
puts it out there to the a greater space of place. And the bigger that your influence grows, the more that extended circle option actually becomes viable for you, right?
So let me just make it clear. If you clicked on extended circles, would that automatically hit all of your circles that are existing, or do you have to do those as well?
It's a good question. I'd have to do some more digging to have a more definitive
Okay,
answer. So,
just
for those of you
curious.
who are watching, no, it's for those of you who are watching. If you're curious about it, let us know in the comments, and that'll determine whether or not I give a viable answer. A lot of questions, so I want to make sure that the priorities. If you guys really want to know that whole extended circle thing, I'd be happy to explain more of it. So.
Cool.
All right, so with that said, yeah, I encourage public and then extended, and then depending on the event and depending on the circles that I've got, I will add specific circles to it. But 90% of the time, whenever I do anything, it's public and extended circles.
All right, cool.
So now you are finished. Go ahead and scroll down a little bit and click invite. There you go.
Bonus.
Everything is set up. Now you can go back to the, yeah, now you're on the page. As you can see, you can edit the event. You can plus one it. Again, no one knows. Or wait, maybe they do. I don't know. Okay. Then you can click share the event, and then you can, this would be a good point. Like share the event. Like if you click share, it would go back basically as a post, right?
Okay.
So that people can see. Just click it real quick. And then yeah, so it acts just like a regular post. But what you're sharing, you can go ahead and click cancel now.
Cool.
But what you're sharing is the link up at the top in the address bar.
Hmm.
If something happens with the share or the post or anything like that, and like I can't get to the event page, all you got to do is come back to this page, copy the URL, and send it to them, and then they'll be able to view the page.
Okay.
Now, since it is public, I don't know if Internet Explorer has this option, but Chrome does. If you wanted, you could look at it through an incognito window, which means that you're not
Yeah.
logged in or anything like that. You
All
can
right.
visit the same exact page, and you'll see that even if you're not logged in or don't have a Google account, you can still see it the same way, and you can actually press play and watch. Now, if you did want to comment, yeah, you'd have to be logged into Google Plus, but I mean, people are tech savvy enough that they understand that concept. At least for all intents and purposes, they can come to the page and go, "Oh, okay, I can click play," and they're involved in the experience.
All right, cool.
So.
Yeah, no, frankly, we're doing this on the fly, and I haven't even asked him if he wants to do this publicly. So I'm going to
Right.
wait on sharing it for the moment, but I'll come back and share it as long as he gives me a thumbs up.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So, really, that's the long and short of it that I know. Like those are all the steps, unless you had any other questions or anything like that, because
Yeah, I
you're good at
can't.
asking questions. You bring up really good points.
Well, I just, I'm a curious guy, so sometimes they're good questions, sometimes they're not. But like I say, quality is a function of quantity, right?
Agreed.
All right, my man. Anything else?
No, not that I can think of. Again, I just want to make sure that you had all of your questions answered. So, if you do, we can go ahead and call this meeting good.
No,
Done.
this was all inclusive. This works great. I don't see how anybody could follow these instructions and not get it right.
All righty. Well, good to know, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Well, again, everybody, thank you, and bye. I'm gonna end the broadcast.
Adios.